I don't know how many of you know that April is the first month of the Jewish year. So September is when the year begins. But April is when new things start happening in the kingdom of God. It is the month of the Passover. It is the month when people passed from Egypt and got out of Egypt. So they, in that sense, passed over from death to life. Something new happened. That is this month, the month of April, yes. So we are in the month of Passover. We can expect great things this month. Yes. And I want to share the word that God put in my heart. He spoke this to me last year actually, but He gave it to me for the next 3 years. And the word is new wine. So this is a season where God wants to pour out new wine.
Amen.
You know, when you hear the word new, you don't know what to expect. It's new.
Amen.
When God says new, I know it'll probably mean two things. One, it's something new in your life that you have not experienced up until now. Or it can be much bigger than that. It can be something new from heaven that the whole earth has not experienced up until now. Either way, we know new wine means it's going to be exciting.
Yes.
So we know new. We know new means we don't know what to expect. And that even, it's exciting, but at the same time, it can be quite scary. It can be intimidating. Because we are like, what does that look like? Sometimes we are so comfortable to stay in the familiar. We're used to this. We don't want to get out of our comfort zone. We don't want to get into something new because we are like, God, what's the price we have to pay? What is that going to look like? Yes? And then I was thinking about wine. What do you mean by wine? Well, simple. You know, Jesus says, I am the vine, you are the branches. So the vine is Jesus, which means the wine that you drink is everything that flows from the presence of Jesus. How many of you want wine that is new, that is flowing from the presence of God? Yes? Yes. That is what we can expect this year. And we know how God operates. When He wants to do something on the earth, He doesn't just split open the skies and drop it into the earth. I wish He would. But fortunately for us, He does it through us. He does it through us. Wow. So how does He do it? He'll pour new wine into us and it'll flow out of us. That's right. When God wanted to save mankind, what did He do? He brought Jesus on the earth to become man so that God could fulfill His purpose through man. So today, you and I, we are the hands and feet of Jesus. Amen. So new wine that is meant to be poured on the earth can only be poured through you and me. Hallelujah. So, like I said, it's new. We don't know what to expect. But we know that it's good because it's from heaven. We serve a good God. So new wine is going to be exciting. It is going to be an encounter that earth has with heaven. It is going to be amazing. Yes? But let's see what God requires to pour new wine. Now let's say I want new wine to pour into me and through me. What am I required to do? We don't know what new wine is going to look like except that it's exciting and God-sized. But God has spoken to us, luckily for us, as to what we are expected to do. And I'm going to give you just 4 points. Number 1, it says, Luke chapter 5 verse 37 to 39. You know this verse. No one puts new wine into old wineskins. Why? If he does, the new wine will burst the skins and it will be spilled and the skins will be destroyed. But new wine must be put into, repeat after me, fresh wine skins. Or new wine skins. And then it goes on to say, and no one after drinking old wine desires new, for he says the old is good. Did you see that? So this is what it is. I'll give you a quick example. Pat Robertson is a mighty man of God who started this TV channel called CBN, Christian Broadcasting Network. He was starting it in the 60s, during which time only movies and shows aired on TV. There was no Christian network. And when God told him to start a Christian network, he went to his board and he said, I'd like to start one. And they looked at him and they said, no one is going to switch on the TV to listen to Christians. They go to church for that. If people sit in front of the TV, they want to be entertained. So this is not going to work, and you're going to put thousands of dollars into this. No, we're not with you. And he said, he sat down there and looked around at his board, and he realized something. He realized God is trying to pour new wine, but the old wineskins are not willing. They are saying, no, no. And see, Jesus in all his goodness is not going to pour old wine into old wineskins. He loves us too much. You know why? Because I want you to imagine, this is us, this is the wineskin. If he pours new wine into this, it says it'll burst. So in effect, all those people who were sitting there with their traditions and their old way of thinking, who were saying, the old wine is good. We have tasted it, we are good. See, if God tried to pour it into them, they would burst. They would burst and they would lose what they had. God doesn't want his children to burst. He is a good God. And so, Pat Robertson decided that he needed to do what God wanted him to do. So he had to totally do away with the board and start a new board of new wineskins, because God wanted to pour some exciting new wine into the body of Christ. Do you understand? And today we're at that place again. We're at that place and we need to throw away our old wineskins. We cannot continue, we cannot operate in our traditions and in our old way of thinking, because God loves us much too much, and he is a good God, and he's going to spare us the old wine. He doesn't want to see us bust and our intestines just spilling out. Sorry, it's gory, but that is the truth, right? So, and you know, it is so interesting. If you read the context under which Jesus said, I want to pour new wine, but I can't pour it into old wineskin. The context was, the Pharisees come to Jesus and they say, how is it that your disciples are not fasting? They are always feasting and enjoying life, and we fast. How come your disciples don't fast? Do you understand? They could not understand feasting. They couldn't understand enjoying. They couldn't understand having fun. There is a time to fast, but there's a time to feast. If you're only feasting, that's a problem. Not good on the waistline also. But if you're only fasting, that's not good either. The point is to flow with God. The point is, what does God say? Why don't we throw our traditions out? And why don't we bring in God ideas? Why don't we? Are we willing? The question is, are we willing to surrender a new level of trust in God, where we say, Lord, you know, this was me. I would say, I want to serve you, God. Yes? And there are all these spaces in my calendar, God, that I'm willing to give to you. You know, the spring, I love to stay in the US during the spring. It's so beautiful, God. Summer, I'll give you the summer, God. But you know, the fall, I love to be, you know. But winter, I'll give to you. Do you know what I'm saying? God said, do you know what, Annie? Just keep it all. Just keep it all. So the point is God wants to, he's a better planner. Are we willing to just give over our time? There was a time in my life when I would give my tithes and offerings to God, but I believed that the percentage that I was keeping back was my money. Come on, I did my job. I gave God what was his. So I used to think I could spend my money, the rest of it the way I wanted. And God, he's such a gentleman. He tried to tell me that he's a better planner than me, you know. But I just thought, you know, no, you don't understand God. I'm very good at math. I'm a good steward of money. I never allowed him. But today I am so thankful that it's not 10%, 20% or 40% that belongs to God. All 100% belongs to God. He wants all. He wants our all. All our time, all our calendar, all our energy. He wants all of it. You know, when God asks you for $10,000, He doesn't want your money. He's just trying to get $10 million to you.
Yes, come on. Come on.
New wine.
Come on.
New wine. We need to get rid of the old wine skins. That's point number one. Point number two is, it says, so I already covered that. The point number two was, it will require a crushing and a pressing. You know, in the Old Testament it says grapes were thrown in, you know, and they were crushed and they were crushed. Sometimes because the quantity was so much with the feet. They would crush with the feet. And I want to ask you, how many of you are willing? Do you mind coming and lying down so you can be crushed? But I kid you not. God wants, again, why? Because He's a good God. He's a good God. There is so much of self in us that God is saying, let me do you a favor. Very gently, let me just pull those roots out of you. Because if those roots don't come out of us, the enemy is going to get it. He is going to find your root and he's going to come in. And so God is saying, let me pull that out. That is not the way you should think. That emotion, you have been emoting like that for several years, haven't you? Maybe there's a new way of emoting, yes? That temper, yes? That selfishness, those things that are in the core of your being, it needs to be removed. We need a crushing. We need a crushing. Because the crushing is good for us. Come on, can you say that with me? That crushing is good for me. That's right, it's good for us. We don't need all this much. And you know what? There is this much time we have on the earth. So let the crushing begin. So what if you have to pay a price? Because let me tell you that the ones who are willing to be crushed, let me tell you what you can expect. You can expect three things. Number one, you know, it was a prophetic sign that the first miracle that Jesus did was turning water into wine. And what did we learn from that? The latter wine is sweeter than the former wine. How many of you want a sweeter life in the latter days than in the former days? How many of us want a more powerful life? How many of us actually want to taste the wonder of the presence of God? How many of us are willing to have His presence flow out of us? Yes. So, you know what? What was I saying? New wine, yes. But what was my point right? No, I was talking about the latter wine. These students are disqualified. So, I said the latter wine is sweeter than the former wine. That is the thing about wine. That is what it is. It's going to be way sweeter than anything you've ever experienced. Things that's going to flow out of our life is going to be way beyond what we thought or imagined. How many of you are ready for that? If you're ready for that, say, I don't mind the crushing. Come on. That's right. You see, He's a good God. He's a good God. Allow Him to crush you, or the enemy will come and crush us. Number two. Oh, this is my favorite. The plowman will overtake the reaper. I said there are three promises. One, latter wine is sweeter than the former wine. Number two, the plowman will overtake the reaper. I know that sounds a bit like Hebrew. It sounded Hebrew to me too until God explained it to me. And it comes in Amos 9 verse 13. Let me read it to you. Amos 9:13. It says, Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper, and the treader of grapes him that soweth seed. And the mountain shall drop with sweet wine, and all the hills shall melt. So you know what happens? What comes before? Sowing or reaping? Sowing, that's right. So what does this say? the plowman will overtake the reaper. So first the plowman comes into the field, right? He plows the land. Then the seeds are sown. And then there is a time, right? A time for it to go. Then the harvester comes in and he starts harvesting the crop. But he says, the harvester, which is me, is still in the field harvesting when it's already time for the plowman to come and plow for the next seed. Why? Because the harvest was so great. Yeah. Did you understand? So the plowman is going to start overtaking the reaper. He's going to be overtaking because the harvest is so much. How many of you are ready for a huge God-sized harvest in your life? Yes, and that is a promise. It's a promise. You know what? There are 3 promises in Amos 9:13. Number 1, the plowman will overtake the harvester, the reaper. Number 2, it says the mountains will drip with new wine. What is the mountain in your life? What is that unconquerable thing in your life? What is that thing that's like a thorn in your flesh that has been troubling you for many years? Those mountains are going to drip with new wine. Amen. Your mountains, and it says, and the hills shall melt. So not only can you expect your hills to melt, but sweet. Those mountains and those problems are not just going to melt, but sweetness is going to come out of it. Hallelujah. How many of you are ready for your mountains to melt? Yes, and how many of you are ready for the mountains to drip with sweet wine? That's the second promise, yes? And finally, I'll just give one more, and it is Proverbs 3, verse 9 and 10. It says, honor the Lord with your substance and with the first fruit of all your increase. So shall your barns be filled with plenty, and your vats shall burst with, say after me, new wine. Wine. That's right. So what is the secret to accessing new wine? Did you see? God is saying, your vat is the container in which you store wine. Yes? So God is saying, your vats will burst with new wine. So then I'm like, okay, what is the secret to my word, vats bursting with new wine? It says, honor the Lord. What? Amen. Honor the Lord with your substance or your wealth. Yes. And wealth is not riches. Riches is money. Wealth is everything including money. Yes? Yeah. So what is it that you have? Your wealth, your time, yes, your love, whatever you can give, whatever help, whatever. You know, I was reading this verse this morning that says, each one of us have been given a gift. So we all have gifts. We all have talents. And it says, bless one another with it. You know? So one of the reasons I'm speaking to you today is because I have a gift. God gave me a gift, which is a love for the word and to explain the word. And so that is a gift that I'm saying, God, I want to use it. I don't want to go to heaven and God says you buried your gift, right? In the same way, God has given all of us gift or gifts. Yes. And it says, honor Him. Honor Him with it. Honor Him. When God tells you to do something, you're just doing it because you're honoring Him with your gift, with your wealth, with your substance that He has blessed you with. And it says, when you honor Him, and it says, with the first fruit. What the first fruit is the excellent portion, not the leftover portion, right? The first of your time. The first of your money, the best of your energy, you know, the best of it all. It says when you start to, and what is honor? Honor is putting value. When you start to put value on the words that God speaks into your life. It was 2018 January that God spoke to my husband and said, go to the Philippines and go to Africa. And He told me that, and we immediately said, okay, God, what do we do? How do we do that? Yes? Because we have to put value and honor what God speaks in our life. And you know what? Whatever you honor and whatever you start to give away, you will start to increase in it more and more and more. What do you want to increase in? Give it away. You want to increase in money? Give it away. You want some more love in your life? Give it away. Yes? What you give away is what you will increase in. And last,